Hi everyone and welcome, I'm Mr. S. I'm a primary school teacher here to help you with some of the tricky things in school. Today we're mastering percentages so that you can smash your schoolwork. By the end of the video you'll be able to calculate different percentages easily in your head. So let's get straight into it. Now it's really helpful to remember that percent as a word actually means out of 100. Okay? And to find any percentage, we build it using our ultimate building blocks. And those are 10%, 5%, and 1%. Once you know how to find these three, you can build any percentage possible, really. So finding 1% is easy because we divide it by 100. Finding 10% is easy because we divide it by 10. And finding 5%, well, 5 is half of 10. So we just half the 10%. Now let's get into a question and give it a go. So I've got here 35% of 80. We need to find 35% of 80 here. And that might look tricky, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to break that up into 30 and 5. As 30 is a multiple of 10, I'm going to start with that one. So we need to find 30% of 80 here. So first I need to find 10% of 80. And to find 10% I need to do 80 divided by 10. So let's do that here. 80 divided by 10 equals 8. Now to get from that 10 over to 30, I need to times by 3. So I'm going to do the same with my 8 here. I'm going to do 8 times by 3. And that changes it from being 10% to 30%. So 8 times by 3 gives me 24. And there we are. 30% is 24. So that's my first step done here. Now I need to find 5%. And how did we say we find 5%? Well, it's half of what 10% was. So 10% was 8. 8 divided by 2 to give me half is 4. And the final step is to add together my 30% and my 5%. So we're going to add 4 and 24, giving me 28. So there we are. 35% of 80 is 28. Now let's move on to a second problem. And what I've got here is a worded problem. A lot of the time, schools love to give you tests that have worded problems rather than just giving you the simple maths to do. If you've seen my other videos, you know how I like to deal with worded problems. I like to read my questions and underline as I do. So a pair of trainers costs £150. There's a 22% discount in the sale. How much money do you save? It's very important that we're talking about how much they're saving and not what the new price is. So really what I'm doing here is I'm finding 22% of £150. Now again, I'm going to break that up into 20% and 2%. As 20 is my multiple of 10, I'm going to start with that one. And I'm going to do 20% of 150. To find my 10%, I've got 150 divided by 10, giving me £15. Just like before, getting from 10 to 20, I have to times by 2. So I'm also going to do that with my £15. I'm going to do 15 times 2 gives me 30. And there we've got our 20%. Now I need to work out my 2%. And to do that, first I'm going to work out what is 1%. Okay? Well, 1%, I need to divide my 150 divided by 100. And that's going to give me 1%. I know how to do my divisors by tens, hundreds, thousands. So that's going to leave me with 1.5. As we're talking about money, that's actually £1.50. Now, to get from my 1% to 2%, I need to times by 2 here. So 1.5, £1.50 times 2 equals £3. Or you could just say 3. There we are, my 2%. The last step is to add together my 20% and 2%. So I'm going to add together 30 and 3, giving me 33. As we had a worded problem, this problem was in context. So 33, what does that mean? That is how much you save. So I need to give it units as well. It is £33. Now, do you see how breaking up my percentage into smaller pieces and building it together like building blocks makes it so much easier to find percentage? Well, now it's your turn. I've got a challenge here for you to give a go at. I'd like you to pause the video, try and find 12% of 60. Now here's a hint, break it up. Get your tens and your 1% as well. And then build it together. If you can drop your answer in the comment below, then I will check it for you and let you know if you got it right. If this video has helped you to conquer tricky percentages, then please hit the subscribe button and I'll see you next time.